Hello, hello, hello.
Howdy.
Captain
Oh.
Carl, hello.
Oh,
Ahoy there.
take off that, Greg, take off that hat.
That is
can you hear
beautiful.
Richard? Can you hear me, Richard?
You are coming through loud. You're all coming through loud and clear.
Okay.
Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Richard.
How are you?
Good. What, you don't like the hat?
Oh, I guess I'm going to have to go grab my hat.
Well, I have my sailor's hat. I'm ready.
What ship are you sailing on?
The Sinkable.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the one I'm on.
Oh, my gosh.
How is everybody doing on this fine 20th of June?
I am good.
Good,
Great,
good, good.
great.
Solstice is upon us.
Hey, you got any houseboats for rent out there in the marina?
I'll look. None that I know of. You missed that big one was for sale. If you had 4.9 million, you could have had that.
Yeah, well, we have to move from off the mountain. Well, not off the mountain. We have to move from the mountain location we're at now.
Yeah, well, if you move on to a houseboat, you're definitely going to have to get a different hat.
Well,
I'll give you one of these.
all right, I'll take you up on that.
Richard, I'm going to send you a link right now to Richard. Let's see, Richard at Richard Dugan.
That's right.
And open that, and that's going to be our music for today. I'm a little delayed.
All right. Hang on a second. What? Stop it. Stop that. There
Carl,
we
I
go.
just learned there was a documentary about Yacht Rock.
Yeah, you know what? I was at the premiere in a small room with about 120 people with Christopher Cross, Michael McDonald, the boys from Toto, David Pack of Ambrosia. Really cool. Yeah, we didn't quite make it on that one, but there was another documentary. They featured us on it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And didn't Christopher Cross's daughter or something have to do with that film?
Yeah. I think she was pretty involved. Gosh, I'm spacing out on the producer who I want to say Bill Simmons, maybe. But it's on HBO.
All right, I don't have HBO, but I'll have to find it somehow.
Yeah, it may be. Gosh, it's kind of all over. It might even be on YouTube. Honestly, yeah.
Right. I'll find it. What's it called?
It's called Music Box. Sorry, that might be the production. Music Box Yacht Rock, a doc, DOCK Umentary.
Oh, that is just too cute. I want you to know. That's just too cute.
Watch out.
You have to change the name. It's too cute.
Yep. There's so many puns in here.
Oh yeah.
Well, all right, we're about a minute out. We're about a minute out. All right, here, Elizabeth, I got to find your. We got plenty of time, so I'm not worried about that part of it. Oops, wrong button. There it is. Oh my God.
Yeah, I once did a whole talk on expressions and words that come out of our maritime history.
Oh my Lord, Elizabeth 3.
Right? Isn't that great? I mean,
yeah.
All right.
We just go and go.
Do you know?
And our audiences will stop us.
Yes, they will. Now, they stop you at gunpoint. Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
I got to take this off. It's too hot in here.
Yep.
I have 78 degrees in my little cabin. I'm not a happy camper. Yeah. And it's been a year. It's been since February 2024. I have been trying to get management with laser media to cool this room down. And it just is driving me freaking nuts. All right, folks, here we go. We're going to go here in the 3, 2, 1. And I shouldn't have done that.
Welcome to the Arts and Antique Radio Show, where your host, nationally recognized certified appraiser Elizabeth Stewart, Santa Barbara's treasure sleuth, will help you put a value on the treasures in your own home. Every time it rains, pennies from heaven. Don't you know each cloud contains pennies from heaven? So let's find out.
3,
How
2,
valuable is it?
1, you're live.
Hello, 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 Santa Barbara. It's your Chantress of everything valuable and beautiful, Elizabeth Stewart. And it's just a bittersweet program today because my friend Greg Gorga, 17 years as executive director of the Santa Barbara Maritime Museum, is going to step down in December of 2025.
Oh my gosh, I thought you were going to say someone had died.
No. Actually, Greg is retiring. He's here with us. He has weathered he's weathered the museum through many difficult times, 2028 recession, and then the pandemic. I mean, during the pandemic, it was such an incredible treat because he kept alive some of the lecture series that he's been doing, and it was really fantastic. I mean, we got to listen. Sometimes we got to actually go to the museum, the Maritime Museum, but he did other things too to sort of the distinguished speaker series. We were able to join sometimes virtually, etc. Also, he kept this. What was really cool to me was he kept the school's involvement going. And that was tough. I was watching that thinking that's fantastic. And then the crowning glory of I think the time that I've known Greg, I've known him. Actually, Richard, Greg was appointed when we started the series, our program.
You and I have known him as long as I have lived here in Santa Barbara.
But the fun thing is, I think I got to cover the Point Conception First Order Fresnel lens, and I got
You
to
are
see it.
so lucky.
I no kidding, and I got to see it as it was kind of just arriving at the museum, and I got to see the restoration process a little bit, and we covered it many times. And I mean, just the achievements that Greg's had at the museum. Bringing on real talent. Emily Falk, for example, super talented. And the Liz Perry, another one, education directors, incredible talent. Anyway, we're here because we're celebrating a certain party that is going to take place. Greg, tell us about it.
Sure. So this is our 25th anniversary. We opened our doors in really July of 2000. So we wanted to celebrate that, and we didn't get to celebrate our 20th anniversary during COVID. So this is really special. And so, and thank you for your kind words. Thank you very much. And you're right. It has been a team effort with Liz and Emily and a bunch of others. And education is such a big part of what we do here, and the Lighthouse Lens is iconic, of course. So we're bringing a great band, Yachty by Nature, here to the Maritime Museum on Saturday, June 28th, 6 to 9. We're going to dance, we're going to rock, we're going to drink, we're going to eat, we're going to have a blast. I got my captain's hat all ready to go. And so we're really happy and excited to bring Yachty by Nature to the Maritime Museum. So you not only get to hear great music, but you get to see it inside the museum, right next. The band's going to be right next to the Lighthouse Lens. And of course, right now we have the beautiful photography by Chuck Graham of the Island Foxes. And so guests to the concert get to see that as well. And then if you buy a ticket, you get a 1-month membership to the museum. So you get to come back as many times as you want for a month. And see that exhibit and drink dark coffee on our patio and all the other fun things that we do, our monthly lecture series as well.
Oh, well, I just want to tell dear listeners, so we have with us Captain Carl of the band Yachty by Nature. And I had a great time listening and watching some of the YouTube performances that he's done. But also as a personality, I mean, Richard, I want to tell you a little bit about Captain Carl. He's a 6th grade social study teacher by day, and he's a yacht rocker by night. He grew up here in California, and he was very shy as a child, and ended up being extremely outgoing. He's got a 10-piece, he had a 10-piece band, soul band through the 90s, and then an 80s cover band in the 2000s, Neon Nation. And now he is heading the nationally touring yacht rock tribute band, Yachty by Nature. And what's so fun about this is that I was looking at the places that he's performed. First of all, what is the genre? You may not know what the genre yacht rock really is. It's a kind of a smooth rock that you can listen to on your mega million-dollar yacht, basically, is what it boils down to. You'll know the sounds, Hall and Oates, Michael McDonald, Toto, Steely Dan, Christopher Cross. Michael McDonald lives here, Carl. You know
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Ahoy to you. Yeah, you're doing a great job on the genre, mid 70s to mid 80s. All those artists and then some.
And
But
then I read here that you've performed at a bar that I'm familiar with in San Diego called Sea Legs.
yeah, actually Huntington Beach. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, Sea Legs is we've had a good 7, 8 year residency there right on the sand in Huntington Beach. Just amazing. The band's been so successful, but all about the music, talented musicians, and getting to play yacht rock music right on the sand. And we're gonna have that vibe at the Maritime Museum because whether it's on the sand, in the marina, harbor, on the dock, that kind of seaside vibe takes you to another level. It's not just the music, but all the fun of the yacht party, really, essentially.
so you started the band in 2016, is that right?
Yeah, we're 9 years in now.
Okay. And then it took off because, as you say, you're actually bringing audiences to Pleasure Town, is how it's described.
I I couldn't say it any better myself. I gotta say, when people leave our shows and come back multiple times, it's always overwhelming. I did not expect this when we started the band. We love the music. It's in our bloodstream. It's hearing AM radio in the back of the station wagon, kind of a vibe, Doobie Brothers and all of this. But when our fans come out of a show, just gleaming smile ear to ear, it is just a confirmation what a pleasure, what a vibe this music really brings. And then we're goofy and fun and campy, and we're wearing captain's hats and making it as nautical as possible.
Can you tell me a little bit about the members of the band? And I know that you are the keyboardist,
Yes.
and you do the keyboards and you do the backing vocals and you do a lot of the solos and you are harmonizing most of the time. How did you learn your craft?
So I gotta say, I went to school in Europe for a year after high school. I was playing piano, but I'd never really branched out. That kind of gave me this year, like a gap year type of experience where it was really cultural. I played in a bunch of bands through college and beyond. And then in 2016, I've played in some tribute bands and stuff. But I gotta say, when we found out what yacht rock was, probably 2011, 12, 13, there was a band doing this in Atlanta, and there was a YouTube series called Yacht Rock. These guys from LA invented the term because all of these, there was never a genre like this. But when I found out about it, here are all these great songs that I loved playing on the piano. And they're difficult. I mean, Steely Dan, very jazzy. The whole genre is jazzy R&B with those big, lush harmonies and vocals. And of course, I was a shy guy way back when, but I had a decent voice. And through the years, these great experiences kind of led me up to living my best life as Captain Carl on the piano, goofy, fun, but deeply serious music, you know. I mean, Toto and Steely Dan and Michael McDonald. These are serious musicians that make it look just so simple. Well, let me tell you, we've been working our buns off to be able to play this music. And sure enough, the bass player in Neon Nation came with me. We call him Scotty McYachty, and he is a phenom vocalist. But his background is more like Beatles and Eagles, and so uh, that's our big connection is those harmonies in yacht rock. Those harmonies are so special, so important to being able to carry the music. So it's not just any kind of garage band that can pull this stuff off. So once I got Scotty together on it, he actually got a couple of more. Our drummer, Big Wave Dave, has been with us from the very beginning. We've had a couple personnel changes, but we brought in our cruise director, singer Julie McCoy, a couple of years ago, and our sax man, we call him Pacific Rim, and a stellar guitarist from LA. We call him West Coast. And so,
Fantastic.
yeah,
And
the
so
six of us.
there's six of you, right?
Yes.
Okay. I want to talk a little bit about a special day in the band's year, and that would be May 3rd.
Bacon Fest in Des Moines, Iowa. That was truly a special one. I gotta say, there's something special happening in Iowa, and even though they're so far from the coast, they are all yacht rockers. And that beautiful, wonderful humanity, just the nicest people in the world. And first song in, they were yacht rocking like none other.
But isn't it something that you do every year? You have your birthday celebration?
Oh, you know what? So for this one, we've never played Bacon Fest before. That's our first time out. Um, although we're deeply in touch with our Tauruses out there who are born in May. My wife and Scotty's wife as well. So yeah, we love our Tauruses.
So I want to just ask a personal question. So I'm looking now. You guys are listening on the radio. You can't see, but we have Richard's got our video up so we can communicate visually with each other. And I'm looking at Captain Carl's office there, and I'm seeing on the wall. Are those album covers? What are those on the wall? They're framed
Yeah.
square. Yeah, tell me describe to me, show me what they're about. I
Yeah.
see. Yeah, I see
So
Steely Dan.
So, as you kind of mentioned before, uh, I'm kind of a man of extremes. I was shy. Now I'm uh, definitely not anymore. And my eclectic music tastes kind of brought me to yacht rock. I mean, on my wall here, you got Steely Dan, Can't Buy a Thrill album. You got the Eagles over here. You got Captain and Tennille, but throw a little Prince in there, 1999. This is Boz Scaggs here. A little even Michael Jackson, Hall and Oates. There's some sticks up there. This is Toto, and you can't see this one, but Chicago. And I gotta say, for those of you who catch on to us and want to come back and see Yachty by Nature, not just at the Maritime Museum in Santa Barbara, but other shows also. Sometimes we add a couple more horns, and we have a full horn section, and we can pull off Chicago and some of these other great kind of vintage, what I call vinyl hits.
That's fantastic. I can't wait. It's going to be just a wonderful party. Tell us again, Greg, the dates and the times, how we can get in touch, etc.
Yeah, you can get tickets at sbmm.org. That's sbmm.org. It's June 28th, Saturday night, and it's 6 o'clock. The doors open. Music starts at 7, and we are just going to have a blast that day. It'll be, and it's right here at the Maritime Museum. There's going to be some room to dance. There'll be drinks. There'll be food, and captain's hats. So you're going to be all set and enjoy. And it supports the Maritime Museum. It's a little fundraiser to help us do all the wonderful programs and exhibits like the Island Foxes photography exhibit we have going right now. You know, we put nearly 5,000 students throughout Santa Barbara County on tall ships, on the Mystic Whaler tall ship, the Marine Science program aboard the Stardust and Coral Sea. We do a Girls in Ocean Science program and inspire young junior and high school students to pursue ocean-related studies and careers down the road. And we have our award-winning, nationally recognized Maritime on the Move program, where we get kids out on and walking around the carp salt marsh and seal rookeries, the Santa Barbara Harbor, to Sandspit and the breakwater, and or Oso Flaco Lake, which is an amazing little gem up in the North County. So the tickets do support all the wonderful programming we do. And again, it's Saturday, June 28th, 6 o'clock doors open, 7 o'clock music, sbmm.org.
So I want to also mention we have to go to quick break, but I want to talk a little bit about some of the luminaries, Greg, that you've brought. And, you know, I've had the pleasure of interviewing a couple of them. I'm thinking of Ernie Brooks, for example, Jean-Michel Cousteau, Ladd Handelman, Bob Kirby, Sean Thompson, Rennie Yater. And, you know, and we just covered recently, Captain Carl, we just covered the when you stand in front of the museum, you'll see a deep sea diver sculpture, and that's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, that was a gift to the city that we were the fiscal agent for, and a great committee put that together. It's an 8-foot statue on a 2-foot pedestal. I see people taking photos in front of it all the time, and boy, those list of names, an amazing group of folks. Fortunately, we still have Sean Thompson around. He's on our board, 1977 world champion surfer. Rennie is haven't seen him recently, but he's still going and still probably shaping surfboards. So just an amazing, and all those other folks. Ernie, I miss so much, and Bob Kirby and Laddie, of course. So, but you can learn about all their history and here at the Maritime Museum. So we do honor and celebrate their history and what they did for our community here in Santa Barbara.
You know, that and I actually I would have never met Ernie had it not been for you and Rennie. I met him when you did. I mean, there's it's been such a wonderful ride. It really has. And Richard, we got to go to quick break, and I want to just when we come back, I want to ask Greg. I think I know the answer to this question, but one of the obstacles and challenges that the museum faced during his tenure was financial, and there was a strong donor board member group that helped Greg through that issue. And I want to talk a little bit about that terrific achievement. And it's a great milestone for our community as well, for Santa Barbara as well. And we talk about that when we get back from the break. And then I also want to ask Captain Carl, you know, it seems to me to be like the combination of Captain Carl's talents. You know, his bio, I have two separate bios on him. It turns out when I put them together and I look at his past, you know, he's a musician, but he's also been a performer, and he's also been an athlete. And those three things, I'm wondering how that sort of comes together in a career. And then, you know, he has a degree, a teaching degree as well, and how that comes together in a career. So we have two things to talk about, very polar opposite. Number one is the major challenge that Greg spearheaded, and the museum benefited greatly with the help of, I think it was the Chrismans and the Schulers and the writers and some of the other board members that helped along the way. And I want to talk about that challenge too. Hey, Richard, let's go to quick break. Don't turn that down. Back in a minute.
More clear.
So that's great. Carl, so you teach social studies?
Yeah. Ancient Civilizations is my
Oh, nice.
sixth grade curriculum, and
All right.
just out for the summer. So,
Oh, yeah, right.
shiver me timbers.
Yeah, right. No kidding.
Yeah.
And we're starting to see all those kids come in through the museum.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, yeah, this has been probably the last few weeks, but we just finished last Friday, so just catching the summer vibe. We had
Yeah.
a show up in Sonoma, up in Napa area last Saturday, so I've been on the road a little bit.
And are you in LA? Where do you teach?
I'm in Orange County. I teach in Laguna Beach.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So our board president lives in Laguna Niguel.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. They have a house. His parents' house is still here. They still have, but he was a city planner, I think, for the city of Laguna Niguel or Mission Viejo.
What's his name?
Chuck Wilson.
Chuck
And
Wilson.
his family owned lumber schooners in timberland up in the Pacific Northwest. So one of his family's Wilson brothers, lumber schooners, were the first into San Francisco after the 1906 earthquake to rebuild the city, and their ships used to dock here at Stearns Wharf.
No
and
kidding.
deliver lumber to Santa Barbara. So
my dad, same name, Carl Nelson, was a big wig in the County of Orange. So I guarantee.
Oh yeah.
I
All
don't.
right, I'll ask him. Carl
offhand.
Nelson.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I used to live down there. I actually ran I was a manager at the Ancient Mariner in Newport
All right.
Beach.
We are coming back, kids. You are coming back. In 3, 2, 1, you are live.
Welcome back. It's Elizabeth Stewart, and I'm talking with two gentlemen regards the 25th anniversary of the Santa Barbara Maritime Museum, and also covering a little bit of I don't know, the bittersweet moment. Greg Gorga, who has been on our program I don't know how many times and has brought me personally such amazing people to talk to about the happenings at the museum, is going to step down in December of 2025. I was amazed to find out through Heather that Greg is actually going to start to explore some things that he has put on the back burner in his life, notably yoga, tennis, and guitar. And I was thinking how cool that is to have the time to think about those things. And I'm wondering if you'll bring your guitar to the party, Greg, on the 28th?
No, you don't want to hear me play.
Okay.
Yeah. Give me a couple of years of retirement, maybe. Then I'll come back. But yeah, I don't have time to do it every day, which I would love to do. So that's one of the reasons I'm going to slow things down. I'll still work. I'll still do some consulting either here at the museum or somewhere else. But definitely more time to do those fun things and travel.
Oh, and travel. Where will you go?
Oh my gosh, the list is long. Costa Rica, Croatia, Cambodia and Thailand, Vietnam, all over. I love traveling. What's it? Peru is a big one too. So yeah, just get me on the road. Back to Ireland. I've been there like 4 times, but I want to go back.
Oh,
Yeah, my
okay.
Irish roots and Italy, Italian. I'm learning Italian right now.
Yeah.
I should study Irish because boy, the accents there are so tough.
It's actually Gaelic, but take me with you if you need a Sherpa.
All right, you got it. Yeah, so definitely traveling.
So tell me about this. This is like one of the major challenges that you faced during your 17 years, Greg, was the issue of the high rent at the museum, and
Sure.
tell us about that.
Yeah, when we got to, there's a lot of people who had a lot of ideas for this building, and we, not we, me, but the founders fought really hard with the city to get the 8,000 square feet space that we do now have here at the Waterfront Center building down at the harbor, the perfect place for our maritime museum. But the city had paid $2.4 million to the Navy for this building, even though the city gave it to the Navy during World War One, and then had to do 2 million in ADA upgrades. So they wanted that to recover those funds. So our rent when I got here in 2008 for just the building itself was over $13,000. And then we have common area maintenance costs, the store rent, which is now dark coffee, and a slip fee for our Ranger, our 108-year-old sport fishing boat. So people always say, oh, well, you're talking about Santa Barbara history. Does the city support you? And I had to laugh at it. I'm like, no, we're writing a check for $18,000 plus, and it was going up 3-4% every year, just to the city for every single month. And so those folks, Barry and Jean Schuyler, Victor Atkins, who's passed away now, Roger and Sarah Chrisman, George and Judy Ryder, and Joey's still with us. He goes by Joey. He's a past president here. They really led that effort, specifically George Ryder and Jean Schuyler, for a while before her stroke. And we raised almost $2 million, and we purchased our lease out for the building itself. So city still owns the building, but we eliminated about, now would probably be up to $15,000 a month. And that's good through April of 2038. So we were at that time, we had one education program. I think we did do a lecture series, but we really had down to the bare bones staff, because most of our money was going to the city. So it allowed us to add staff, to expand. We're up to 13 different education programs now, mostly for youth, but we do have that distinguished speakers series, thanks to Marie Morris Rowe. And do all these, we're doing, Emily Falk is putting together 3 to 4 different exhibits each year. So we changed those over, and we've gotten, now we have about 7 or 8 traveling exhibits that we actually own and can travel to other venues. So we have right now photography about the building of the Santa Barbara Harbor on display at City Hall. We have Bob Evans, Megatropolis photography exhibit about all the marine life on the oil platforms is on view out at the Santa Barbara Airport. We have Ralph Clevenger's, several of his photography exhibits, the polar bears, the great white sharks, and the mermaids, and Dan Merkel and Bill Dewey's California Piers, and then I think Dan's lighthouse exhibits. So we have a bunch of exhibits that we can now travel to other venues, and none of that would have been possible if we were still paying that rent to the city.
It's fantastic. Such an achievement. One of the things I wanted to ask you this hour was, what was some of the great challenges that faced, and I always think about, I don't know, Captain, if this resonates with you, but my background was in dance. And so I was in ballet companies, etc. And when you perform or when you open anything, there's this total chaos. And you think it'll never fly. This performance will never it'll never fly. We're going to flop. It's just going to be terrible. And look at this, and the stage manager is dumb, and your partner is clumsy, and everything. It just is not going to work. It's not going to come together. And the curtain opens, the exhibit opens, for example, the performance opens, and wow, lo and behold, it comes together. I don't know what that magic is, but it's, I think a lot of it with the museum, when I go to the openings, it's Emily Falk does such a perfection job. I mean, down to the colors of the walls that change and the shape that seems to change of the museum itself. The physical spaces seem to change.
Yeah, she paints those walls to match the artwork or the photography, so that she pulls out the colors in the different images. And one exhibit can have 4 or 5 different wall colors, as there's sections, because each image has different things. So in her 15 years, we've calculated that there's probably about 46 or 47 coats of paint on these walls. So the museum, that 8,000 square foot space is getting smaller and smaller. So we're going to have to, we actually have you know, because money is always still an issue and always a challenge, but we have a grant out to sandblast those walls and repaint them because so we can start anew. But she is amazing. And you know, I sometimes artists can be a little difficult to work with. And I have never had an artist complain about the way Emily has hung their shows or just displayed their artwork. I've had artists or the son of an artist is particularly take photographs of the way it was hung, so that because that was a traveling exhibit of his artwork, his father's watercolors of Navy ships that he sent to the other museums, going to show him and to tell him how to hang the exhibit. So you know, and like Kevin Short, we just had, he loves showing here because of the amazing way that Emily portrays his work.
Yeah, so I wanted to see Captain Carl, you know, one of the questions I had for you was this combination of talents that you brought to the stage. And I just mentioned again that, you know, you are a board certified 6th grade social studies teacher, that you actually studied in Europe. You studied music, you studied performance in Hollywood for 7 years. And you were also a champion Division I volleyball player in college. And so all these talents come together, and in your performances. So tell me the cohesion here.
Yeah, you know, I gotta say, it's been an interesting journey for one thing. I preach to my kids, late bloomers, you know, might be slow to it, but you build these abilities, these talents that, you know, the name of the game is finding your passion. And luckily, just so luckily, um, I still play volleyball and still an athlete, but that's helped me in teaching, kind of having that sports mentality, really hard work ethic, and running the band is something I do, you know, quite joyfully. But that work ethic and determination and resilience has really helped me as a performer as well. I mean, just like you said, what a tightrope act that you follow. You hop out there on the stage and you're hoping you put everything into place and hopefully it fires and the crowd is going to be happy. And I got to say, Yacht Rock has been the perfect vehicle. Um, you know, not only is it great and fun and very interesting music, but we're our live concert, our live show is super fun, super energetic. You might see me doing jump splits off speaker here and there, especially at Sea Legs where you land in the sand.
I was gonna ask you about that. So I was hoping you'd speak about that in regards to your athleticism, because
Thanks.
there's a couple YouTube uh i- performances where I was watching them. It's like, wow, this guy is quite an athlete. You can moonwalk, you can break dance,
Yep,
you
yep.
can jump and do these yeah, amazing things. And do you credit that to your volleyball training?
Oh, all the way, all the way. Yeah, yeah. I've always had that pretty big leaps for a Norwegian guy, you know.
Well,
Just
yeah,
don't
you
jump
don't
onto the
expect.
lighthouse lens.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was gonna say, there's probably not a good jump off point where we might be a little more swaying and you know, grooving a little more than jumping. But yeah, I've been so lucky to have been blessed and have that volleyball background and but in even acting, you know, just being in front of people and the show again is great music, but it's witty banter and all the goofy puns that us sailors have at our maritime beckoning. Um, and so there's a lot of great opportunity fun times, and it's kind of reflected in the in movies and other art too, because a lot of the music is in stuff like Caddyshack movie, Step Brothers and Ron Burgundy, and a lot of Will Ferrell stuff out there. But people are really picking up on the yacht rock. It can be mellow, cruisy songs. So all that energetic and fun and athleticism as we bring it kind of elevates the music a little bit and keeps it really exciting.
So did I read somewhere that you have your family has a background in maritime things?
Well, you know what, going way back, my great grandfather was a sailmaker in the west coast of Norway. So yeah, we're deep in on the nautical.
And you know what's so funny? So I was thinking, okay, I must have read somewhere that you had a family background in nautical issues, and then I thought, well, I wonder if Greg has as well. And I find out that he had when he joined our museum 17 years ago, when he started to lead the museum, he had absolutely no background in maritime anything. As a matter of fact, his background was that he knew port and starboard. He knew what that was, and his dad was in the Coast Guard, and that was the extent of it. And now we have. I mean, Carl, he hasn't told you, I'm sure, but I mean, I covered an experience where Greg actually was telling the tale of going down in a shark cage and studying sharks I mean from knowing nothing about that world. And then of course we have the Ranger and all the restorations on the Ranger that I mean just everything that Greg's learned. It's so impressive, not to mention the kind of folks that he's associating with, people like the Cousteaus and Ernie Brooks, who absolutely this is their life, in all things maritime. Just the knowledge that he brings to the artifacts that he has in the museum is pretty incredible. Oh, Richard was giving us a sign we have to go to a quick break. So get back from the break, let's talk a little bit, but I want to talk a little bit about the members of the band, Captain Carl, and because I'm wondering if you know, I know a little bit about performing, and sometimes you don't actually see eye to eye with people in your ensemble. And I want to know what the experience is for you as the director and the leader of the band. Just very quickly, out of my own interest. Okay, Richard, let's go to quick break. And Greg, just before we go, give us another shout out about the party.
So Saturday, June 28th, tickets available at sbmm.org. Doors open at 6. Band starts at 7. Every ticket you get a 1-month membership to the museum. So you can come back as many times as you want. We'll have drinks, we'll have food, and we'll have captain's hats. So we're going to have, and dancing. So we're going to have a lot of fun.
Okay, go to quick break, Richard. Thank you.
You are clear.
So Greg, you were at the Ancient Mariner?
Yeah, so I worked, so another part of my maritime background, I tell people, besides knowing port and starboard and my dad, was that I did run big restaurants for 10 years, but they were seafood restaurants. So I worked for Rusty Pelican, and Ancient Mariner was part of that chain. So I was at the Brea Rusty Pelican, and this is mid 80s, late 80s. And,
Yeah.
and Ancient Mariner. And then I went down to San Diego and opened up a big restaurant down there.
Wow, that's
What did
just
you open in San
mind-blowing.
Diego?
Rusty Pelican. So I went down there and opened one in Mission Valley. Then I got promoted and went to the nice thing about them, except for my first GM job, was in La Mesa, the Grossmont Mall restaurant, which is pretty far inland. But I was on Harbor Island, right near the airport. I was at Pacific Beach, right on the water there. And then later, separate from that, I worked at George's at the Cove, right on the La Jolla Cove. So I started there with them in Alameda, and the restaurant was on stilts in the estuary in Alameda across from Jack London Square. So always right on the water.
That's amazing. You know, so I must have run into you. I moved to Santa Barbara from San Diego, and we used to one of our favorite places was at the fish market.
Mm.
Absolutely loved that restaurant. And
Yeah, downtown.
uh
That was a nice one. Yeah.
and also Rusty Pelican was down my house. I could see the Rusty Pelican from my house. I was in Mission Cliffs,
Oh yeah. All right.
right above. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I opened that opened in late 88. So I was there for about 8 months and then they promoted me. So but that was a crazy talk about openings and how crazy they are. I mean, we opened the door on a 3 o'clock on a Friday night and we had a line out the door just to get in the bar was packed. And then last minute we decided to open that Monday for lunch. We usually open just for dinner for 2 weeks. Like literally Sunday night, we're like, let's open for lunch, see how it goes. And by that Friday, we would open at 11 with an hour and a half wait for lunch. So
Wow.
it was nuts. That was a really busy restaurant.
isn't it funny how these disparate things come together and it's like, oh, I have a talent now. I know how to,
All
you know,
right,
I know
here
how
we
to.
go. We're coming back in 3, 2, 1. You're live.
Welcome back. It's Elizabeth Stewart, and we're talking with Greg Gorga and Captain Carl Nelson. Captain Carl is the leader of a band called Yachty by Nature, and he will be performing with his the six-piece band. He'll be performing yacht rock favorites at the party to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the Santa Barbara Maritime Museum. And that's going to be June 28th at 6 p.m. And you can get your tickets, go online to the museum's website, get your tickets. And when you do, you get a whole free month of visiting the museum. And there's some really cool exhibitions. Right now, there's a great exhibition of the island fox, which is so fascinating, and the recovery of the island fox. And the spearhead of the recovery we actually had on the air, didn't we, Greg? And that was his devotion to conserving the fox was pretty amazing to me. Just a
Yeah, Chuck
touching
Graham's a
story.
great guy and he spends a lot of time out on those islands.
Yeah. And he's kayaking the whole time. So
He'll
yeah,
kayak from Carpinteria out to the islands, which a little more than I could do.
it's fantastic. So I want to ask Captain Carl, you know, you perform with these folks. You've been performing with the same folks, I think, since 2017. Is that right?
2016, yeah. And I gotta say, Scotty McYachty with the 80s band, I've been playing with him since 2006. So
So tell me how copacetic are folks there's six people and you're on the road sometimes. So I mean
yeah,
that's crazy.
that's the best question. I gotta say, I could not ask for more. It's one of these things, at every position in my band, you could find some super hot shot all-star, but as a fabric together, we're able to do such amazing things on stage, amazing things with the instruments and vocals. So it's pretty amazing what we've been able to accomplish. And I gotta say, the just best efforts and kind of collegiality
Oh,
that really pays dividends because we'll get these calls where, hey, uh, 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 we're kind of a special band in that a lot of us have regular jobs too, but we'll get a call and like, oh gosh, can we do a Thursday in Orlando, Florida, and make it happen? And we all get together and we make it happen. It's unbelievable because you hear about other bands and there's a lot of squabbling and this and that, or you have to bring in substitutes. Our guys pretty much show up to every gig all over the country, all the time. And I will say where most of our disagreements happen is song choice.
really?
That's where, everybody's got, and yacht rock's an interesting thing where, they have a scale, officially yacht rock. There's these writers in LA, they have a yacht ski scale. So you can see, oh, is this a yacht rock song, or is it technically not? And there's purists who follow this like very religiously. But for our money, we're a live band, we have to stretch out. And so when we stretch out, you know, this person or that person in the band, Scotty loves him some Steely Dan, but that can get a little too mellow. I've had to take his favorite song off the set list number of times. He loves FM, but it's not what they call an anthem or a banger. That's like that just pumps the crowd. But the musicians in the crowd are very impressed because that song is just a very solid Steely Dan jazzer.
And I'm kind of hopeful that you get to meet some of our local stars
Yeah.
that Kenny Loggins lives here and Mike
Right.
McDonald lives here.
Mm.
Uh, uh, who's the gentleman? Oh gosh.
Alan Parsons is here.
Oh yeah, Alan Parsons is up on the
kidding.
Oh, I've
mountain.
seen him
Yeah.
at somebody's house just playing.
Oh, wow.
And you know who used to come in the museum because he was a diver and knew Bev Morgan is David Crosby. And his boat, Mayan, was right out in front of the museum.
Incredible.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so we've got a lot of people that you would love
Yeah.
to meet, I'm sure. And let's give one more shout out. We've got just a few minutes left in our show, but this is going to be a wonderful party to celebrate 25 years of the Maritime Museum. Um, it's incredible milestone. We didn't get to celebrate the 20th year because of COVID. But we will be celebrating the 25th year. And then we can also tell Greg how much we appreciate all of his leadership at the museum and all of the accomplishments, the buyout of the lease, the involvement of all kinds of different ethnicities and sexes, super important now in the museum. The outreach education system, the touring exhibitions, the Fresnel lens, all these things, the tribute to the deep sea divers and all of the wonderful people that he's shown in the art of the maritime world. Captain Carl, there was an exhibit that I went to where some of our wonderful local artists and our local surfboard shapers, real veterans, they came together and were painting surfboards, and that was part of the art that in really elegant, beautiful, beautiful ways. So, Greg, so many things that I'm so proud to
Yeah,
say.
that
I
was
know.
one of my favorite exhibits. That was Rennie Yater. He wanted to honor the wooden shapeboard makers, and he did one of them was Captain Carl in Dana Point a longboard that would have been used there, and then John Comer painted Dana Point as it looked in the 1930s. It was awesome.
That's right. That was John Comer. That was fantastic. Anyway, come to the party June 28th. See Captain Carl and Yachty by Nature, a yacht rock band, and let's give Greg a big hug when we get there too. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, you're all clear. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, if you got a houseboat out there, let me know. Big one.
All right. Hey, Captain Carl, I'll see you next Saturday. Looking forward to it.
Gonna be super fun. Thanks again, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye now.